It was approximately 5 years ago. A friend of my partner at that time was owning the IT company, and he started to invest into mining. At that time, Bitcoin was mined already with ASICs, the special chips that used for mining. If you all remember, like mining of Bitcoin started with CPU, and then it went to GPU, which are the video processing units, which are mostly used for gaming. And then there were ASICs, so special chips for mining. And that time we just invested few $100 or $1,000 to buy them and to check how they work. Also, we built a rig for Litecoin at that time for GPU. So anyways, we somehow invested the money and started to see how it works and what is that. And at that time I was somehow hooked. So I started to read what is this cryptocurrency, what are actually mining is doing, what is this hardware doing and why. And so I understood that it's like a crazy interesting world. At that time was not much happening, let's say so. 5 years ago it was relatively a beginning, so you cannot really speak with your friends about that, you cannot ask anyone for advice because no one really knows anything. There was just a guess, so I was interested in the technology, I was interested on how it works, what it does, how interesting is the concept, how interesting is the whole idea of unknown creator, that is something which is completely decentralized, has no manager, no owner. This was very interesting things, and I decided whoa, this is something which I never saw. So this should be something really different. And when it's something different, I'm as a physicist, I really like trying to understand and see what is that, how that works. So mostly it was like a curiosity, so it's not like I can say that 5 years ago I knew for sure that it will work and it will be big industry and so on. At that time was really something comparatively small to what it is today. There were no events organized, there were no conferences and so on. It didn't appear in the news, on the TV and so on. And yeah, most of the people actually thought that I'm just an idiot. I'm just getting into something. They saw that Bitcoin is like a Ponzi scheme. That is something just somebody organized to earn the money and run away. I was explaining that it's not like that. It's decentralized technology, so no one really have influence over that. So it was a lot of explaining what is this, how it works. And of course, to explain that and to prove my point, I had to understand how it works. And then sometime in 2014, I believe, or maybe, yeah, it was in 2014, I recorded a video for 45 minutes where I explained what is Bitcoin, how it works, what is mining and everything. I did it in Russian language because most of my friends were asking me in Russian, of course, and at that time I lived in Kiev. So I recorded this in Russian. Right now this video has 250,000 views, completely organically. I wasn't really promoting that and so on. So if you write in Google what is Bitcoin in Russian, you will see my video on the first page. By accident it was exactly 45 minutes, which is like an academic lesson. So yeah, I fit exactly in 45 minutes to explain all the basics. So at that time, when I only started, there was only blockchain 1.0, let's say so. Ethereum was not existing at that moment, no ICOs were being held, and there were no smart contracts, decentralized applications and so on. There was only cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin and a few others, which were basically all quite similar to each other. Right now it's it added a lot of complexity, of course. Right now many people are involved in the industry, many people are developing new stuff, many people and companies are exploring the usage of the blockchain and cryptocurrency for their businesses. So right now a lot of things happening, right? The price increased, the popularity increased, the amount of different development scenarios and directions increased. So everything has developed, right? Right now even countries, regulations are thinking about that. At that time this was not the point. So at that time it was completely anarchical, let's say so. So it was only people who were using this. We call them crypto anarchists and so on. Right now it's becoming more and more, let's say, white and fluffy. basically in 2014, in the beginning of 2014, I started to organize some events in Kiev, educational and mostly like a community management. So we're just meeting with the friends, with people who are interested in the technology, in the industry, and we just were speaking about that and so on. And we decided that we would like to formalize it into some kind of organization. So it was maybe not my idea to create it, but the group on the Facebook, yes, I created it, and I'm still the owner of it. To be fair, I'm not really participating in it too much, right? Right now I live in Germany, so I don't have really a lot to contribute to Bitcoin Foundation Ukraine. Of course, it is a center for some communications with the government, some advisory for some projects and so on. So like an organization of the people who really understand the technology and who are willing to share the experience with everyone who is interested. So everything is free there. We don't charge money for anything. So it's just organization to help to make the world a bit better place. I joined Cubits actually immediately after launch, so I'm not so much a co-founder, let's say. I'm one of the first employees, maybe, but I'm not a co-founder. But I started very, very early when the company was basically just launched. I started as the product manager, then I was mostly responsible for operations, you can call it COO. Then I was a head of gaming when we had a strategy to acquire a lot of different gaming platforms such as casinos, sports betting, and so on. I think we succeeded in that. We have quite a good portfolio of this type of clients. Now we are getting into new industries as well, into our cryptocurrency industry. We're developing some tools how to help new exchanges, new marketplaces to start quicker with less risks, with less development and so on. We have some partnership with some bigger brands which I cannot disclose right now. So things are moving forward. We have some big projects, we have some small projects, we invested into some other business directions. So this is quite exciting industry, I would say. I really like how it is developing. The amount of opportunities is still endless. So the market is still kind of empty, a lot of experiments. That is why you see many companies really die, because they don't find a business case, or the idea which they thought will work didn't, and so on. So very, very exciting stuff is happening recently. Speaking about the business development, I would say it was not really hard for me. So if you believe in something and you are passionate about something, it's very easy to speak with another business owners and really share with them your thoughts, your feelings about where it is going and so on. So if you're passionate, excited, and if you really believe in what you say, I see no real issues to really convincing someone that it is really interesting. Of course, you have to understand the challenges of the business of your potential client and so on the basic level, to outline how this technology, how the product, how your services can help them. But in the end, it's not so hard. The main challenge here is basically help them understand what is this. So really to explain what is technology about, what is the product about, how it can help their business. So this is the most difficult, because of course this is something new. You can compare it probably with the commerce when internet appeared, right? When I believe that web developers at that time, they were called web designers, webmasters and so on, how they were, for example, speaking with the owners of the big shopping mall that they need a website. So they have to explain what is internet, what is the website, why do they need a website, who will be using it, how, and so on. So with cryptocurrency is something similar. You first have to explain what is that, why it should be interesting, how it helps to optimize their processes, or so on, and then you explain how you can help them. So this is the whole idea of the business development in this field. The market is very, very empty right now. So the amount of potential clients is kind of endless as soon as you have the business case specifically for them. The main problem that I see right now in the industry that there are so many crypto experts right now. So I receive probably around 50 requests in LinkedIn every day. And what I see that everyone are crypto experts. So everyone are crypto expert, crypto enthusiast, blockchain expert, blockchain consultant, and so on. And these people in the industry like for half a year or a year. And I don't want to blame anyone, but I just think that 1 year is not entirely enough to become an expert in something. So I'm full-time in this industry for almost 5 years, right? It's 4.5 to be fair. And I don't really say that I'm a big expert in the industry. I'm expert in some sides of the business implementations, but I'm not an expert in the industry. I mean, I don't know everything which is now being developed with all these new technologies like Cardano, EOS, Nano, and so on. So I'm quite skeptical about this. So for you, what I would advise you is really starting to understand a bit of a history. So here I would compare it, for example, with the physics, right? How can you say that you are expert if you don't know the basics? You don't know the history, you don't know how it all started, what were the laws, who was the one developing this. So okay, blockchain is not a science, right? But it's still a new industry, and to become an expert in this, you have to first understand what was invented and developed before you really started to get into. So to understand a bit of a history, to read about the success stories of the big companies, to read the mistakes of the big companies or companies which didn't survive, to understand what were the problems, what were the challenges, trying to understand the technology, trying to understand the business implementations, and so on. There are a lot of educational materials in the internet. There are right now a lot of books. When I started, there were kind of no books about this. A lot of, even on some universities, they have online educational programs for cryptocurrency, DLT, how they call it, for blockchain, and so on. So I would say that to really become somebody in this industry, you have to start with understanding what is this, how this all appeared, and why, and what are the developments right now, and why these developments are being made. So because I see just a lot of people who just try to get some money on the hype. Yes, of course it's possible, but I just don't think that you will really build some sustainable business or projects on this long term without really understanding what are you doing on the mid-depth level. Okay, I also don't really understand everything on the technology side, right? I'm more like on the business development side of things, but I understand the technology to some mid-level, right? So I understand what is happening there and how. Okay, I don't know exactly how encryption works in all the different blockchains, but at least you have to understand that it is happening on which level to understand how you can utilize the technology for different business scenarios. So it's something which is not entirely easy, but you have to start with studying the technology, I would say. I think it is the most optimal way. I would like to invite you on the Maltese Bitcoin blockchain event on the 23rd of October. I will be speaking there and would be happy to see you there. Bye-bye.